Hi everyone, welcome. I'm down here in my wormery, and at times I go at the feeding of my bins kind of conservatively. Sometimes I'll check to see if there's still food leftovers in there. Other times I'm a little bit more devil may care about it, and today is one of those days. I didn't even look inside the bin, but I'm confident that giving them this stuff is not going to be a problem. So it's the system that you see right over here. It's a VERMIBAG tote. It's got my mixed population of worms in it. So I'm going to put on the glove and we're going to get this thing up onto the bench. And we're not going to force feed it. If it's really not practical to do so, we won't. But my hope is that we'll be able to. So let's see how it looks. Sometimes I prepare by jotting down some information about the systems. But I think all the information pertaining to the system today is all so easy that I should have no problem remembering it, because it's all simple numbers. The age is 120 days. There have been 12 feedings, and that means over 120 days, 12 feedings. That puts us at a 10-day interval between feedings. And as luck would have it, it was 10 days ago when we last fed, so we're kind of keeping to that interval that has averaged out over time here. I don't think it's always been that way. I think it just sort of happened that way. And let's see. 12 feedings so far. Did I mention that one? I forget. There's all these 12s and 10s. Man, this cardboard's really worked. I mean, not worked. I guess it's just soggy and heavy. It just felt like if I was, rough with it, it might just tear. So one thing we noticed on this system, not so much anymore on this back edge, ever since we started shoving in the fabric top with the screen on it. Instead of covering up with the top, we've been opting for that plastic covering. So this restricts airflow, but out on this edge where the fabric doesn't quite reach the plastic tub, it does allow for a little bit of airflow where we've observed moisture loss and some dryness as a result of it out here. But it seems like we're in good shape today. I don't see any signs of that dryness, not like last time. Last time there was a little bit across the top edge, and then after mixing it in, it seemed like it was good enough that we didn't have to apply any moisture. It seems to me like we're in the same state again. So now last time we took leftovers that we found in here. We had leftover celery, we had leftover kiwis. There was 2 whole kiwis in here, leftovers from a previous feeding that had not even been breached yet. So we actually punctured each kiwi. We stuck our finger through each one a couple times. So I doubt that those kiwis are still intact and whole like they were last time. Well, the outer skin on a kiwi is pretty tough, and if you don't help the worms with it to break through that, the worms could have a hard time accessing the yummy insides of it. So sometimes I leave a kiwi to go on its own for a little while in a bin, but more recently I've been just helping it along after some observed, time passes where the kiwi just hasn't made any progress yet. I'll just jam my finger through it, and that's what we did here last time. One of them is right here. I guess the other one would be right around here. There's some other leftovers here too. There's the leftovers of a pepper that had been placed in here as part of their feeding. At 120 days old, yeah, we checked in 10 days ago when it was 110 days old. And then we checked in once 10 days prior to that too, and the bin was 100 days old. So those 2 kiwis were meant to be like the zeros in the number 100. And I forget what one was. I guess the one was a couple peppers next to each other. So we tried to spell out the number 100 to indicate that it was the bin's 100th day in service. And then, we got a lot of worms hanging out down here at the very bottom of this system. Wow, they must really like something that's down here. Wow, okay, we got some action going on down here. So besides the leftover kiwis and celery bits and stuff like that, the food that we put in here last time, I would bet, is for the most part gone by now, because I think there was some cauliflower bits, and if I found any of that, I'd be kind of surprised. But the other thing that I'm almost certain of, oh, look at that, here's some of it. I think this is some of it. There were strawberries put in here, and there's even some strawberry right there, as well as its leaf. I always thought that this was one of those things that would be gone in a jiffy. Maybe it just got stuck up against some other things and prevented the worms from being able to come at it. But you saw how many worms were gathering around, so there's something really drawing them together. I don't know if it's just the juices flowing out of the kiwi or what it is, but they're really enjoying this spot right over here. I didn't see that kind of action underneath the other kiwi, but then again, I don't know. Maybe this one over here just spilled its juices a little bit more than the other one did or something. I mean, we didn't look so much under this one. But yeah, not nearly as much of a turnout. So, wow, okay. Yeah, I mean, look at this thing. It doesn't hardly feel like anything's going on here. Oh, well, I just kind of opened it up. Because if you look at the other one, there's worms inside and out of it. You can still see a little bit of that green color of its insides, I think. Is that what we're looking at the right thing, I think? Yeah, it does seem like the kiwi gets pretty popular as long as the worms can get at it. And that might have just been the shortcoming on this one over here. Where this one was obviously easy access for them and they went for it. And the other one, I guess, was not quite so. Hopefully it is now that we've opened it up. And I think you'll have to agree with me that, you know, those bits of kiwi leftovers and whatever other leftovers are in here are not going to last much longer. The worms are obviously mobbing this stuff. The stuff's obviously making good progress. Even these strawberry tops. Huh. You might have noticed that what they're getting includes more strawberry tops. There's some cantaloupe melon rinds in there. I think some pieces of onion and stuff like that too. I forget. It's an assortment of stuff that my mom contributed. I haven't really had a chance to look it over. I just kind of threw it right into the freezer when I bought it home. And then I just grabbed it now to bring it down here for the wormies. So, why don't we proceed with giving it to them? Oh, is this the other? I thought it was more gone. No, it's right here. It's intact. Maybe it wasn't the kiwis that was drawing all the attention. Maybe it was just something else. But whatever it was working quite nicely. Okay. Let's see here. 120 days old. You know, there's always that question that comes up. What do we do about bedding? Last week or 10 days ago, we solved that problem by actually taking one of the top covering materials. There had been a couple pieces of newspaper resting out on the top surface, and we bought those pieces in here. And it's coming back to me now, so now I can explain it. We had kind of folded those pieces of newspaper in and over the old foods being put in. I think the new foods actually went in the bottom, and maybe the old foods went on top. Whatever the arrangement was, I don't recall, but yeah, maybe that was the new foods at the very bottom. All that delicious cauliflower and strawberry bits. That might have been what caused the, yeah, and I remember they were one on one side and the other side. So I think strawberries were here and cauliflower was here. Am I remembering correctly? I don't know. I did skim through the video from last time, but I wasn't paying close enough attention anymore when we got to the portion where I was feeding the things. But as I talk about it, it does seem to come back, and it seems about right. So I don't know. Let's see. I guess I'm just grabbing whatever leftover bits of strawberry I see out here on the surface. I figured I'd try to get that back down in there. There's some other varied things here. Not sure what they are. Maybe it's kind of tough. Maybe like the shell of a avocado. Here's some more pepper. So we did fish a good amount of stuff out of this feeding area. That still needs some work, but we're going to give them some more stuff. So the work is going to be increased. And maybe this time we'll just, not come in so aggressively with the next feeding. Maybe we will wait a little longer, or maybe we'll just wait 10 days again and hope that they've done well and give ourselves the opportunity, maybe give them more, but not force it if it's not right to do so. But it does seem like a lot of my systems I've been getting into this sort of 10-day interval for whatever reason. It seems to work. Sometimes in the summer I feel like I've got to feed even more frequently, perhaps weekly, because they do away with the food a little bit more quickly in the warmer weathers. But now, with the winter weather, things are pretty chilly. I believe that it has the tendency to slow their action down, especially since some of the worms that occupy the system are those tropical Indian blue worms. Tropical worms do function better. Function? Function is more of a machine term, isn't it? Well, you know what I mean. They're a lot more efficient at breaking down food waste and consuming decomposing organic matter when the temperatures are warmer. So I think we'll be able to step up the pace here a little over time. See some carrot peels in here. These look like maybe leeks. Strawberry for sure. Hopefully they'll eat it a little bit more readily and not leave so many leftovers of it. This might be apple peel. That's what I think it is, but I'm not sure. You saw that was a banana peel. I chunked that up into little strips. So I believe we've got ourselves a pretty good feeding down here. And I've been toying with this idea of bringing back these chunks of cardboard and kind of forgetting about the system having a top covering, because they don't really get a lot of attention out there on the top surface. When we opened up, we saw a couple worms hanging out. I don't know. Perhaps it would have been a good idea to think about that earlier and get this stuff integrated into the feeding area. At this point, you know what, I'm gonna stick to keeping them as top coverings for now. We'll bring them back at the end once we've covered up, but maybe at some point in the near future we'll transition those chunks of cardboard into more of a food-like carbon-based substance to go in the food area versus just having it on top. That's pretty much it right there. Luckily I've got a fresh supply so I could stock up again. What else do we have? Oh, let's not forget this leftover bits of coffee here. Sprinkle that in on the top. Oops. And you know what else we could do? Let's give this system a feeding zone indicator. I noticed that it doesn't have one. Or should we, you know what? The heck with that whole feeding zone indicator. I think if we just stick it down here with the food, it'll probably get chewed up, just like those newspaper bits did. Because, I mean, I don't know if I just tore through them and, you know, ended up making shrapnel out of them when I excavated. But that's what I think we're seeing here is a whole bunch of pieces of that, a whole bunch of little leftover bits of that newspaper that had been top covering, ended up going in with the food, and is now just kind of scattered about. Sort of a bedding anymore, sort of a carbon food source for them. This stuff is pretty nice. Let's get this thing covered up nice and deep in the middle. Some of these food items like these peppers, let's get them back down where they belong. I don't like to have a lot of food items floating around near the surface if possible. I know it's probably almost impossible to ensure that because there's stuff everywhere. It's very easy to miss a piece of something you'd rather have down low where the worms can work on it nicely. Luckily the plastic coverings and even the cardboard coverings that we've been using all provide an extra little bit of protection to not allow the smell of these yummy cantaloupes and other delicious foods to start wafting out of the system and attracting pests. That was so weird. The one little worm flew across, landed on my other finger, and it was like almost invisible. It was like same color as my skin. And then I spotted him there. So we'll get these top covering cardboards back in place, possibly for the last time. And then maybe at some point in the near future, perhaps at the next check-in, we can think about getting them into service as sort of something to go hand in hand with the food rather than just sitting out here on the top surface looking pretty. I think that'll do the stuff some good as far as getting a little bit more worm traffic, a little bit more wear, and in the end we want to see all this stuff broken down, right? So we'll do that next time if I don't forget. All right, well, we're going to get these plastic coverings back on here, but after that we're more or less done. All I need to do after that is put a few things away and get some stuff around here cleaned up, but I'm not going to keep you around for that. That stuff's boring. Before I go though, really quick, let me just say thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to leave me a quick thumbs up before you go. That's always very much appreciated. Also consider subscribing to the channel too. That's really appreciated as well. And there's also channel memberships now. If that's something that you'd like to consider, that would be very much appreciated. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye now.